Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. Today we've got a very special guest with us, and that's Sean, one of the co-founders of DigX DAO. How you going, Sean?
Hey, hi, Alex. Thanks for having me.
No worries. We've covered you on the channel before. You guys are creating a gold-backed cryptocurrency, and we're going to talk about asset tokenization and exactly what the project is and the two-token system. So, how did your team come about getting into cryptocurrency in this project specifically?
Yep. So the co-founding team of us here is comprising of my CEO as well as my CTO. So my CEO, Casey Chung, left his job on Wall Street. He was working there for about 4 years in an investment bank, trading Asian currencies. He left his job to actually start this idea back then with my CTO in 2014. So my CTO, his name is Anthony Eufemio, probably one of the early adopters in cryptocurrency as well as Ethereum. He was the first one that made the live transaction on Ethereum back in 2015. Yeah, so they came together in New York City back in 2014, came out with this idea, reached out just mostly for me to build the community back here in Singapore. So apart from that as well, we run the largest community in Asia called Ethereum Singapore, where we have about 6,800 members, mostly promoting projects at a very nascent stage here, as well as post companies such as consensus-led projects and the Ethereum Foundation. So they come by to Singapore, do a pitch on the update of the foundation and any kind of protocol progress. Yeah, so we came together in 2015, started Digix, which is a gold-backed stablecoin issuing platform. Have been running the business since, and yeah, here we are.
That's one of the things that I loved about you guys is that we see all these new projects with great ideas and a lot of marketing and blah blah blah. But you guys have been working hard behind the scenes for a number of years, and haven't really gone over the top with marketing or anything. But it's all really starting to come together. What stage is the project at now? And do you want to talk about that two-tier system?
Yeah, sure. So Digix itself, we have been incorporated since December 2014. The company right now has about 14 people, mostly working out here in Singapore. So we have two products in the company, mainly DGX, the gold-backed stablecoin, as well as DGD, the Digix DAO token.
Yeah.
So DGX itself has been launched live since April 2018. We've sold about 50 kilograms of gold so far, which brings it to about $2 million street value.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the token itself is an ERC20 based token. So it's circulating freely, mostly on decentralized exchanges as well as Ethereum wallets. We have a marketplace as well on the Digix home site. And that's where we primarily sell the gold tokens in exchange for ethers.
And
the Digix DAO, yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say that real world problem that you guys are solving, I think we talked about on the channel. A lot of people say, well, is there gold in Fort Knox? And during the GFC, when all assets crashing and who owns what,
yeah,
you guys have got that perfect solution now with gold on the blockchain.
Yeah. So much of the early days of the company, we're discussing a lot about the history of money and how one can actually find a very stable store of value in gold. So the whole idea that we have here at Digix is that we create a physical operation that exists here in Singapore because we believe it's one of the safest and friendliest jurisdiction to operate from in respect to gold and cryptocurrencies. So we have an entire physical custody purchasing process all located here. And the 50 kilograms of gold are publicly auditable on the marketplace under the tab called the Asset Explorer. So you can actually go forward to there. You can check out all the related documents that are being attested by the different vendors, which creates these gold tokens. So the whole idea of these gold tokens is an anti-volatility coin. As we have seen in recent weeks and months, crypto has been pretty much in its mini ice age right now as we speak. Yeah. And DGX itself acts as a very stable store of value. And anyone who actually purchases these tokens would have a natural hedge against the falling ether prices.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's not to say that gold itself is not volatile. Gold itself has its own volatility, but the main reason that we see is that we're creating a physical asset-backed token.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the US dollar and other fiat currencies go up and down more than 10 or 20% this year. So I think gold might have even been more stable than fiat currency. So everything's relative, I guess, in terms of that stability. But if DGX is going to be around for a long time, when we see these peaks and troughs, people certainly have a great option to park their cryptocurrency in for stability. So what are the other sort of advantages you see for this in terms of how difficult it is for people to trade large or small amounts of gold around the world today?
Right. So in the traditional aspect, you have things like paper gold as well as exchange traded funds like the SPDR Gold ETF.
Yeah.
This all gives you the exposure to physical gold, but you don't really own the physical underlying. Whereas here in Digix itself, the gold back tokens that we have are available for redemption.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we did have a redemption order this morning, so we have already redeemed about 2 bars of gold from the vaults with people who actually own these DJX tokens. So the whole idea is to lend its physical credibility to our people who buy these DJX gold back tokens.
Yeah. And just to put that in context more, some of these banks, commercial banks, they say they have gold on their balance sheet, and then they'll lend it to someone else and charge them, and then they might say, well, we're now the owners and lend it to someone else, but nobody really knows who owns what, whereas it's very clear once it's on a blockchain and serial numbers and everything as well. Okay, guys, so we're back after technical difficulties. Ron Paul today came out and said that gold-backed cryptocurrencies are the future. So it must be good hearing things like that from someone such notable backgrounds. I know on the roadmap you guys have possibly got silver for asset tokenization, but what else is possible once you have this system in place?
Right, so this system that you just spoke of, it's actually the proof of provenance protocol. So in Digix, we have devised this system that allows us to invite third-party vendors to attest on the smart contract in the creation of these asset-backed tokens. For gold, as an example, we buy gold from a vendor, a supplier, and we store them in the custodial vaults. And every quarter, we actually invite an auditor to come forward to audit these bars. So in the example of silver or even like crude oil or any kind of other commodities, we will be able to invite a third-party group of people who actually come forward to sell either the asset itself, store it, as well as audit it. So in the future, you will likely be able to see other kind of precious metal that are being listed on the Digix platform. It's meant to function just as a modular technical infrastructure. It allows us to include any kind of physical assets that could possibly be stored and audited over the period of time.
And you guys have also partnered with some of the big projects in the Ethereum space, such as Maker, I know 10x. So do you picture a future where someone will be able to go and spend, any commodity, or we're just going to have all this different asset tokenization and it's going to be spendable in our everyday lives?
Yep. So we've heard a lot of things in the community back then when 10x was around, is that a lot of people don't like the idea of spending cryptocurrencies that are volatile and speculative in nature, because most people have the hope that there's a lot more upside and downside. Yeah. So the whole point of creating this stablecoin DJX itself is to lend the idea that you could transact in crypto. At the same time, you are just transacting a very stable store of value. Now, it's good for both the merchants as well as the spender, because the merchants are accepting a very stable store of value. Prices don't fluctuate that much. Of course, in the 10x model, it's mostly done by a processor on the back end. But for the spender, it's actually important for them because they don't want to be spending in, let's say, like Bitcoin or cheaper versions of Ethers or any other kind of cryptocurrencies out there. Yeah. So yeah, we do see synergies with a lot of people out there in the distributed application space. Hence, at the company here, we focus a lot on partnerships and network adoption.
Awesome. So, mate, what would be the sort of take-home messages, or why do you feel that this project is so important going forward, and what is the future of asset tokenization in general?
Yeah, so we do feel that right now in this space, collaboration and partnership is key. For all these companies to actually succeed together, most of them would actually require a very stable store of value, either as an escrow for payments, such as Request Network, or even the example of, let's say, other kind of exchanges right now. We are seeing a lot of exchanges that are selling or rather trading cryptos against base pairs of stable coins.
Yes.
So in the future, actually, when we have a new exchange listing where we actually peg everything against gold, that will create a very big demand for people trading any kind of assets that's denominated against DGX, which also stands for 1 gram of gold.
Yeah. And that applies for decentralized exchanges as well. Once people have DGX tokens, people can start to trade different coins off each other into gold. It's just so exciting watching this ecosystem develop, and I think it's finally here in terms of you guys have got that marketplace up and running. And what are the other sort of future roadmap goals in the next few months?
Yeah, so right now in the future, the roadmap for the next near-term future would be just to get most of the circulating amount of DJs out in the marketplace. So we are actively pushing for marketing on most fronts, from the retail to the business fronts. On a side note as well, we have been actively deploying and developing Digix DAO. So Digix DAO itself is probably the more notable coin in this space from the Digix company, because it has been around since March 2016.
Yeah.
And this governance platform, right now as we speak, is being worked on, and we will be releasing a couple of exciting updates in a couple of weeks' time, just for most of the DG token holders out there to be aware of. Yeah. In the idea of like asset backed in this whole space, we do think that in the future, non-fungible tokens could be a big thing.
Yeah.
Where you could have tradable tokens that represent a whole physical asset. So let's say like one token that represents one diamond, one token that represents one barrel of oil. In the future, this could be a very big thing. Going forward with what we have been seeing in the idea of CryptoKitties and the whole ERC 721, you could expect something from Digix to come out in a couple of months to probably this year or early next year on some kind of tokens around NFTs.
It's funny you say that. We've actually been talking about non-fungible tokens on the channel this week as well. So I really appreciate you coming on today, Sean. We'll certainly do our part to keep an eye on the website and keep getting all those updates out as well. So you guys are doing great stuff. I think you're one of the teams that's underrated and doing good things behind the scenes. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.